Hello everyone, Lanre Yusuf is here once again, your trusted IELTS plug. On today's episode of our YouTube podcast series, we're going to be giving you something that is quite new and is quite refreshing also too. So, we'll be talking about your migration plans and the different places that you want to go to. And we will be sharing some basic things that will be very useful to you on that journey. Now, you know that writing the IELTS is specifically for traveling. However, beyond the IELTS, what else do you need? What are the other things that you need that can help you in that journey? That is what we're here to focus on today. Our focus today is a country that is recently in the news for different reasons. One of the ways that this country has been in the news is through a song released by a popular Nigerian artist called Magneto. Magneto has featured very popular artists on this track. Has featured Falz, has featured Olamide, and a couple of other artists on this track. The track is called Canada. Canada. I'm pretty sure you've listened to that particular track. Canada is one country that has been very prominent in Nigerian social circles and thought spaces in the last couple of years. And why is this? I'm going to give you a couple of tips, data about Canada. Canada currently contains about 100,000 Nigerians who have migrated there, living there either legally or illegally. Canada also, in the last 3 years, has this data, which I'm going to read out for you. Over the next 3 years, over the next coming 3 years, Canada will target the following number of new immigrant landings. From 2022, Canada will be targeting about 43,000 permanent residents. From 2023, it will be targeting about 47,000. Now, 47,000, that's a 4,000 increase. And by 2024, it will be looking at about 451. 451. So sorry, I'll take those numbers again. For 2022, it was 431. For 2023, it was 447. And for 2024, it will be 451,000 permanent residents. That's close to 500,000 permanent residents. Are you going to be one of the lucky ones who will be migrating to Canada, becoming a permanent resident of that very illustrious country? If you are, then you need to watch this video. What are the 5 most important factors that you need to win your way to Canada? The 5 JAPA factors, like they say. The first and most important factor basically is your desire to travel abroad. You must have that overwhelming pushing desire that pushes you to say, I want to migrate. I want to go out of this country for academic reasons. I want to go out of this country for career reasons. I want to go out of this country for my children. You must have that overriding desire. It is that desire that fuels you throughout the remaining part of the journey, which may or may not be stressful. So that takes about 10%, your desire to travel. The second thing that you need, which takes about 25%, is the right formula. What is the right formula? I think that's probably what this video today will be based on. It is going to outline the different pathways and formulas that you can use to travel or to migrate to Canada. So that's 25%. It's a very key factor. About 30% of what you need to do is the action. What concrete actions are you going to be taking? What steps are you going to be taking to ensure that that dream, that desire of yours becomes a reality? Another 10% out of everything there is your belief system. Now, what does that mean? Your belief system is one that fuels your optimism or your pessimism. Are you an optimistic person? Are you someone who faces some challenges by the way and goes, oh, this is the glass half full. This challenge is here now. Once I surmount it, I'll probably be able to get to the next positive step. Or are you the kind of person that sees a small challenge and goes, well, I think this is the end of the journey for me. I cannot do it again. Your belief system is critical to your traveling journey. And that 25% there is the right guidance. And that's what we provide here. So as you can see, the major factors are 3 things. The first major factor is the right formula. The second major factor, which is under 25%, is the right guidance. And the final factor is the action that you will be taking. So these are the 5 JAPA factors that you need to ensure that that Canadian journey that you've been looking for, and that Canadian passport that you're looking for, and that Canadian visa that you've been praying for becomes an actual reality for you. Now, what are the 10 most common pathways to get into Canada? You've heard a lot of people talk about Canada. People walk into our classes and tell you, Mr. Lanre, I'm about to travel to Canada. I need to write the IELTS. What do you need to travel to Canada? Oh, I need a band 10. Trust me, there's nothing like a band 10 in the IELTS. It stops at band 9. Oh, I need a band 9. I need a band 8.5. The next person walks up to me and says, I want to travel to Canada. I asked my agent, or I asked my brother who's in Canada, and he told me I need a band 6.5 in the IELTS. And this raises some eyebrows in class. Some people go, are you sure you need a band 6.5? I heard Canada is, everybody needs a band 9 for Canada. And somebody else goes, no, I heard everybody needs a band 4 for Canada. What exactly are the requirements for traveling to Canada? What exactly makes it different for someone to get a band 6 and other person to get a band 8? This is something as easy as the right formula. What pathway are they towing to get to their desired place? These are the things that I'm going to be listing. I'm going to list 10 pathways that you can take to Canada. Some of them do not even need you to write the IELTS at all. But some of them need you to write the IELTS, not just take the IELTS alone, but to take it and pass it very well. Get from band 8 upwards. So what are the pathways? The most common one, the most popular pathway to get into Canada is the express entry route. It's a very, very common one. I'm pretty sure that if you hear 5 people saying they want to go to Canada, 3 of them are probably going through the express entry route. The express entry route is one that is very common, and we'll be doing a separate video specifically on that. For today, I will not be elaborating on these different pathways. I will just outline them for you. The second one is the family sponsorship route. The family sponsorship route indicates that you probably have a family member, a relative who probably lives in Canada, who is a resident of Canada, who is probably a permanent resident or a citizen of Canada. And that person can actually facilitate you getting invited to move into Canada, either to live in their region or the province where they live or anywhere else in Canada. Another pathway that you can use is called the Provincial Nomination. For the provincial nominees, these people are people who have been selected by the different provinces in Canada to fill in specific roles. So for that one, what happens is that the different provinces that you have in Canada could probably have a shortfall or a shortage of different professions, different professionals. And so what they do is that on their own migration or immigration plan, they give priority to those particular careers. So if you apply to Canada through the provincial nomination, filling in those particular skill sets, it will be easy for you. So that's one other pathway, the provincial nomination. Like I rightly mentioned at the beginning of this video, we will do a much more elaborate video on each of these strategies so that you can know which one is best suited for you. We would also do a comparative video where we'll place them side by side and tell you what you need for this one and what you need for this one and why this is a better option for you over the other one. The fourth pathway to Canada is the Quebec Skilled Workers Pathway. Now, there's a province in Canada called Quebec. It's a French-speaking province that also has some English-speaking parts also too. Now, Quebec has special requirements for migrants who are planning to get into Quebec, and it also has its specific devoted pathway to getting migrants into the country. So if you're interested in getting to Quebec, if you're interested in getting into Canada using that pathway, I'll advise you to go online and probably do more research on this. Or if you cannot do your research, why don't you just stay tuned to us, subscribe to our channel, and watch our subsequent videos to get clarity on that pathway. The fifth pathway that you can use to get into Canada is called the Atlantic Immigration Program. That's the AIP. Now, this is something that is very, very common. It's another very common pathway that you hear a lot of Nigerians take. The Atlantic Immigration Path Program actually deals with some specific provinces that are along the Atlantic coast of Canada. We have provinces like Nova Scotia, like Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and Labrador. These provinces are provinces who are along the coast, the Atlantic coast of Canada, and they have specific requirements and specific needs why they need people to come over into their place. If this is the one for you, or if it's something that actually is right up your alley, I would advise you to also do some research, or like I said before, just subscribe to our channel and just wait for our videos to drop. That will give you entire clarity on that. The sixth pathway to get into Canada is that of the caregivers route. Now, a caregiver is simply a medical assistant who is devoted to taking care of convalescent patients or old patients who live in old people's homes. Now, these people are also called assisted care professionals. It's a very common pathway. I'm pretty sure that if you're very conversant with traveling in Nigeria, you must have heard one or two people telling you, "Oh, I'm going to the UK. I'm going to the UK." Now, if you have 10 Nigerians on a plane going to the UK, I can assure you that 8 of them are going there for the caregiver route. More on that later on in subsequent videos. The 7th pathway for you to get into Canada is called a startup visa. Now, for the startup visa, this is for people who are actually entrepreneurs. So if you have a budding business, if you have a business that is in the SME space, that's the small and medium enterprises space, if you have a business in the tech space, if you have a business that is dealing with services, financial services, this is a particular one that you should probably explore. For the startup visa, what you have is for entrepreneurs interested in establishing a business and creating jobs, and they can apply for immigration through the startup visa program. There's also the self-employed route, which is the 8th route. The self-employed route is for sports professionals, music artists, actors and actresses, and people who are actually in the cultural or creative spaces. Those can actually apply for self-employed visa. For example, if you're a graphic designer or if you're a programmer or a coder who is actually quite good at your job, you can apply for a self-employed visa. You'll be granted a visa based on the recognition of your skills as a person and how you contribute to the economy. But that, I presume, will probably need you to present a lot of data that would back up your claims. The 9th pathway to get into Canada is called the AgriFood pilot route. Now, for the AgriFood pilot route, just like the name implies, you have to be based in the agro-allied business, that is agriculture. Canada is actually an agro-producing country. It has a lot of farmland that it uses effectively. So if that is something that you're interested in, that is something you've been doing before, or something you are interested in getting into, you can also explore that pathway. And finally, you have the refugees route. Now, this is for those who are seeking asylum, who are leaving their country of residence or their country of birth due to one reason or the other, maybe persecution, government persecution, or other things, or they are currently in places where they are having their lives threatened or they are having their livelihood threatened. You can apply to Canada seeking asylum through the refugee pathway. So there you have it, 10 pathways that you can use to get into Canada. Now, what I want you to do for me is this: go to the comment section before we drop our next video where we'll indicate the ones that need the IELTS exam and the ones that do not need the IELTS test. Which ones do you think you will need to write the IELTS for to be able to get into Canada? Which ones do you think out of the 10 that I've listed who do not need the IELTS to get into Canada? Please drop your comments in the please drop your post in the comment section and let us interact on this. Let us have your ideas so that we can share with you and we can better design a much more informative, educative and impactful video for you in the subsequent posts that we will have here. Once again, do not forget to subscribe to our channel if you do not want to miss any information at all that would help you on this route. Remember, in the last decade, probably like 20 years ago, traveling from Nigeria or traveling from anywhere in sub-Saharan Africa used to be an extreme sport. How do I mean an extreme sport? Most people who travel do not even tell anybody. They don't even share with their best friends, with their family members. The only thing you hear is someone gets to the UK, someone gets to the United States and calls you with a foreign number and says, "Oh, I'm here. Oh, Mr. Aaron, I've traveled. Oh, Mr. Landry, I'm already there." However, in the last decade, something has changed. What has changed? Social media. Social media has democratized information. You can now have YouTube channels like ours who can share information to you, who can give you the concrete tips you need to travel without going through an agent, without hiding, without going through the wrong path. Take advantage of this and ensure that you're one of those who will become a success in your desired path by accessing the right information. Subscribe to our channel. Till I see you again, it's Landry Yusuf.